I trained more. I was a drill sergeant then, a corporal then. Later I made staff sergeant. And, 1944.
And how did you teach them? What did you teach them?
Well, just everything. We put them, you teach them how to march to start with. You know, some of these guys don't know their left foot from their right. But no, anyhow, we would teach them how to, we had firing ranges. We fired bazookas, and I'd like to say, I don't know, but you teach them how to take guns apart. And I could take a machine gun apart in the middle of the night. I was blind. I could tell you 100 names, parts on there, because I did it so often, you know. Then later when I got overseas, I was in charge of a section of machine guns. That was a Browning 30 caliber, you know. But my job was mostly, I didn't even fire the machine guns, because I had a section. I would tell them where to position them. You know, the most advantageous area, and maybe where there was maybe a gully where they could sneak up. Well, then the mortars back of us would carry them. We had sound power wires that you would take on a roll, and I could have a phone, and I could take them to either one of my guns, so that you could communicate. You know.
Where were you wounded?
Pardon?
What
German, I got to laugh at this in a way, because it was a German, I think they call it in Germany a Nebelwerfer. It was a big missile. And we were in this little village. As a matter of fact, I just took a prisoner down before that, and I seen that son of a gun coming in the air, a big ball of fire. And I'm kind of nearly laughing. Hey, wait a minute. They're coming more and more toward me. And all of a sudden it started to whistle, and we used to call them screaming mimes. That was the name we gave them as soldiers, you know, because you could hear them screaming. And that thing was coming more and getting louder, and I hit the ground, and I had my leg hanging over the side, and it exploded right across the road from me. Incidentally, the whole town was burning, so the Germans had that thing zeroed in. I didn't know if it was our artillery that did it or theirs. But then, I don't know, I got hit, and I had to start hobbling later. And I can tell you about that one day especially. And we walked.
Where were you hit?
Oh, huh?
And where in your body were you wounded?
Right in the bottom of the leg here. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. Well, my leg got stiffer later, and I had a hobble, you know. And we went up this hill anyway, and as we went up this hill between the buildings were all burning, both sides of it. They had just previously must have bombed the hell out of it. And there was a plantation, you know, like up north, where you have these pines, and the Germans put these big logs in the road, and it was about 10 feet across, filled it with dirt, and had more of these pine trees, because we laid there half the night. And there was an American tank that was burning over there that the Germans had knocked out, because when they hit that they couldn't get any farther, and the Germans must have had it zeroed in. So that thing was burning half the night, and then we moved up the road, and then we went into some old farmhouse, because there was I can remember there was some grape orchards down that hill, and maybe that was part of a winery, I don't know. That's another story. And as we sat down, there was grass. It's a ditch in the road, and my buddy sat down about over there by me. And as I sat down, I said, oh my God, his name was Hojnacki. I said, hey, don't move. Right between us in that grass, there were a German shoe mine, they call them, shoe mine. I don't know how to spell the word shoe, but it was just a brown box, just stained, about this big, Now, we knew about what you might call, personnel traps. You know, it could be a helmet you'd pick up, it could blow you up. But this thing was hidden in the grass. And I said, Tony, don't move. If we would have sat on that. So a little while later, while we were sitting there, they come walking down the road from here to there, and they had the litters, you know, where they carry the wounded. Two guys, and the medics had this young kid on there, and his legs were blown off completely on both legs. The flesh and the legs were just hanging there. And he was knocked out, of course. I don't know if he ever lived. But what happened is, farther up that road, he must have stepped on one of them or sat on one. And that's what could have happened to us. So what I did is I had some toilet paper. And I didn't want anybody else to sit on it. But I didn't do it right either. Anyway, I took some toilet paper and I made a circle around that so that anybody, the rest coming back down that road would obviously see, well, what the hell is that doing? And I had a circle around it. But what I should have done was just walk across the road and told the other guys to get off the side, and I should have taken my rifle and blown it up. I didn't do that. To this day, I'm still wondering, I didn't do the right thing. This was right near the German border. Matter of fact, we went through by the, what was it called? The French one and the German one, the Siegfried line, Maginot line. We already were through there. And they had these barriers, all white, so that the tanks couldn't run through. But our American bulldozers just knocked them over and we went through, no problem. And then we got into the Siegfried line. And let's see what happened there. They were shelling the road up that we were on as we were walking up. And me and my buddy, this Hojnacki guy, there was a big house. We didn't know what it was. It was just a house. And it was open to the basement. So we ran down in there. It had been shelled before. But we had access to the basement. We ran in there, and boy, did I love this. Like, I walked in about a foot of wine. And they had, it was a winery. And these big barrels, you know, them huge barrels like that, maybe 10 feet high, I don't know, they were broke, and it spilled on the floor. So him and we took our canteen cup, and we dug it in. Half of the barrel was full of wine yet, you know. I always tell that story. We would have stayed there all day, we would have got schnockered, but we had to move.